So I got a question. How many people in this room have everything that you want? Everything. Anybody? So here's what, most of you guys have something to take some notes with. So what I want you to do real quick is just take a second and write down something that you really want that you don't have. Something that you really want that you don't have. As Jamie said, perhaps it's a blanket, some hand warmers, a cup of hot chocolate. Kathy Lee just turned purple. Whatever, she's tiny. All right, so we all got it? Something we really want. Now comes the fun part, which is where we get to ask ourselves why we don't have it. And what's cool about our business is that we are in the business of helping people get everything they want. There's an old quote, and I think it was a Zig Ziglar quote, that said, the only way to get what you want in life is to help other people get what they need. And I agree with that to a degree, but I also think that you got to help people get what they want. And we got to take time to have an honest assessment of why we don't have what we want, and the humility and accountability to accept or recognize what our role is in why we don't have it. So there's a couple of reasons that I kind of jotted down about why we don't have everything we want. Reason number one is that sometimes we have to be patient. Sometimes we're doing all the right stuff, we're doing things the right way, we just haven't been doing it long enough, right? So for me, I'll give you an example. Anybody here have tight hamstrings? So I started doing yoga like a year and a half ago. I'm like 6 to 9 hours a week. It's pretty intense. 18 months ago, I couldn't touch my toes, and I'm sitting there talking to my teacher the other day. I'm like, what do I do to open my hamstrings? Because they're really tight. So she asked me, have you done this? Yeah. Have you done this? Yeah. Have you done this? She goes, cool. Now do it for 10 more years. Like, that's kind of what I thought you were going to say, right? So some of you guys, if you look in the mirror, you're doing it right. You're doing all the right stuff. And God, I love technology, but sometimes we forget that real life doesn't come with instant gratification. Sometimes we have to do it for a long time, over and over and over again. The not fun stuff, right? So sometimes it's just about patience and persistence and needing a realistic expectation of what it's going to take to do it and how long we have to do it. So that's option one, is maybe we haven't been patient enough. Option number two, you got persistence. Option two is a lack of resistance. A lack of resistance, a lack of resisting the things that we know will get in the way of us having the things that we want. A really warm bed in the morning, we sometimes have to resist if we want to get in better shape and go to the gym. Right? We got to resist the things that keep us from our goals. We have to resist what we know will hold us back, and that's called discipline and delayed gratification. We want it all and we want it now. Alexa, turn on the lights in the living room. Alexa, go to the gym for me. It doesn't work like that. I have tried. Alexa, do sit-ups. Damn it. So 1 is persistence, 2 is resistance. Number 3, sometimes it's just choices. We know what to do. We have the skills. We have the awareness. Why aren't we doing it? And with that, we got to recognize there is so little difference in the amount of effort it takes to show up to work and do it and show up to work and not do it. So why don't we do it? And I think part of it is we got to recognize what's the difference between good work and bad work. Bad work drains your energy. Good work gives you energy. I got to ask you, what's more exhausting? Getting up, eating right, going to the gym and feeling in shape, or sitting on your couch watching movies and eating Doritos? Now notice, I didn't say what's easier, I said what's more exhausting. Because long term, what's more exhausting is knowing you should have done something, not doing it, and not getting results. It's actually harder to do that on you emotionally and physically and mentally over time than it is to show up, do your best, even if you fail. Because then at least you can put your head on your pillow at night and say, I tried my hardest, and I'm just going to get up and do it again tomorrow. But sometimes it is so hard to do that. And as we're faced with those decisions on a day-to-day basis, when we're not getting the things that we want, when we are working hard, at least we know we get a good night's sleep knowing we get to live to fight another day. So that's number 3, is just choices. Number 4 is an interesting one, which is maybe facing the realization that you didn't really want it. How do you know what people value? You know what's important to people very simply by the actions they take on a day-to-day basis. But we know how it feels when we know the right thing to do and we choose not to do it. So we know what our values are by the actions we take every day. So we're talking about something we want, and then we're not doing the things we know how to do to get it. Maybe it's that we don't want it. But for the people in this room, I don't think that's the case. You guys need to realize something right now, and that if you made it to this room, you are in the top 1% of every single person who has ever set foot into one of our offices to do new hire paperwork. So give yourself some love. We say shit to ourselves every day that if somebody else said it to us, we would punch them square in the mouth. So we get these feelings in our mind that we don't deserve to succeed, that we don't deserve to win, because we make choices that set us back. If you are telling yourself that you've never made a decision you're ashamed of, you're lying right now. So what you got to do is you've got to recognize that you do deserve to succeed. You are top tier, you're top 1%, and you don't make it into this room without wanting something huge. You've just got to step up and recognize that if you want something, it's worth working for. That's step 1. Step 2 is harder, which is looking in the mirror and taking the piece of it that you own and saying, hey, self, hey, coaches, hey, peers, I don't have what I want, and here's what my role is in it. Here's my biggest opportunity to get better, and I need you to hold me accountable. And then from there, the next step is just to walk, to put one foot in front of another, to take action right now, and you got to forget the worries. You got to forget the fear of failure, the fear of the unknown, leave the rationalizations, the BS, the excuses at the door, and decide that the time for massive action is now. Call your shot. We all deserve to have everything we want in life. We just got to be willing to do what it takes to get it. Thank you, and have a good day.